So they started doing things like telling stories and singing songs from the 40s, and I don't know who led that table that night, but Don, he had a lot to do with it, right? But anyhow, they hung this sign up in here, and every time that we come out here to Bob's just say, hey, you know what, come back, and we want you guys. So that's the reason why we come to Bob's. Have a nice meal, have a nice get together. So I'm going to do one other thing before I'm going to turn this over to Mark, and Mark's going to go to asking some questions. I'm going to ask Natalie, yeah, we're at Natalie. You don't know I'm going to do this, but would you sing for us? Would you?
So there I am, fat, dumb, and happy, and all of a sudden there's a thump. The aircraft kind of lurched. Both fire lights came on, and all the warning lights, and the airplane went out of control. First I was up against the canopy and then down in the seat. Positive and negative G's. And I knew it was a gut shot, so I yelled to my co-pilot, "We're hit, eject." And this poor guy, it was his first mission over North Vietnam.
Oh my goodness.
And he was about 3 miles behind the airplane the whole time. He told me later, he said, "I thought you said, oh shit, something." And I said, huh? And then he says, I saw the canopy go and your seat shoot out the airplane like a cork out of a champagne bottle. And then I realized he didn't need to go. So he pulled his handle and he just barely made it out. Well, the first thing I saw when I left the airplane was I opened my eyes and I saw my F4 blow up out there. Close. And so now I'm in my ejection seat, which you're supposed to ride down to around 14,000 feet. And then a bunch of automatic things will happen. And you can be unconscious until you hit the ground and not have to do anything. Well, so I realized I was out of the airplane and I'm falling in the ejection seat, which has a little 3-foot drogue chute to stabilize the seat so it doesn't come. And so now I look down to see what's below, and to my horror, they fired 2 SAMs at me, and the second one blew up right underneath. And I can see I was headed right for it. There's this big red black fireball growing, and I was headed right for it. Well, I just had time to close my eyes and hold my breath, and I felt this hot flash, and I was through it. And I know I wasn't hallucinating, because when I got on the ground later, I noticed that my eyebrows and eyelashes were burned off, and I had powder burns. The hair was gone from my arms with powder burns on my arms. So I got through that. Now I want to tell you how a SAM works. It's pretty simple. It's been described as a flying telephone pole, and maybe, well, the length doesn't matter, but the pointy end has the radar and the guidance electronics. Behind that is about 8 feet of black gunpowder, and the inside of the missile casing is lined with rows and rows of steel rods about that long, glued to the inside. So and it's packed with gunpowder, so when it detonates, this gunpowder shatters all these rows of rods, and they make an expanding ring of shrapnel. Picture it, a growing donut of shrapnel, deadly. The first one knocked my airplane down, and here I am coming right through at the right angle, the right airspeed. All I got was some minor burns, and I didn't get a scratch. Wow. Not even a John Kerry splinter in my arm. John Kerry got 3 Purple Hearts, right? Well, so we go home early and run for office. I only got 2 Purple Hearts. So anyway, I fall through this fireball and this shrapnel and everything, and I'm unscathed. And that's why the rest of my life I believe that the hand of God was around me. I came here totally unscathed. And,
Armstrong and getting the B-52s so we could come back into Vietnam and go up to North Vietnam and drop some bombs. And I'll be there. We got to do it for almost 16 days. And but that's not me. I wasn't there. That portion of it. I was in a little airplane called a UC-123K. God, nobody even recognizes that bird.
Oh.
I didn't either. So I thought, as all good speakers should, I should show you what the gliding glider looks like with engines.
Oh, wow.
Let me see.
Aerial view, aerial view.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
Is it
beautiful.
glider?
Walk around the room.
This airplane was originally built to be a glider at the end of World War II. It was because we were having so much trouble with the other gliders because they're made of canvas and wood. When they hit the concrete like that, guess what happened? Everything inside of it became crushed. People, everything else. Anyway, so they made this airplane. Doesn't have any engines on it. It's stripped down to the bare wire. It had one battery in it because what do you need? It's just a battery to keep your instruments up front so you see where you are. You tell your altitude. So that became our Spray Bird. And the Spray Bird, the reason it picked up that is because this plane could be shot numerous times. We have two airplanes. Well, one of them right now is in the Air Force Museum. We call it Patches. That's the airplane I brought back. We didn't lose it, needless to say, but we have had 2,400 holes in the airplane while we were there.
Wow.
So, and the reason it happened that way is all of us smart gun shooters, when we go out dove shooting for the first time, hey, there goes that dove, right? Let's point at him and get him, and we're shooting way back here. Charlie did that. He liked to shoot at the back of the airplane anyway. So that's where they hit, and we do that. And we ended up getting shot up down the road. What I started out to tell you guys, and I'll go ahead and tell you, you know it here, but we were flying this airplane one day, and we were in a very classified area over there. So I can't tell you where it is, or I'd have to kill you. But we're taking it. There's 4 of us on the airplane. We got a pilot, a co-pilot, an observer, who was me at this particular flight, and a spray operator. He was the one who turned the Agent Orange on to spray it. Well, he turned it on, got all that going down there. Here we come through the thing. We're flying at a 72-foot elevation. That means trees are above us over there, 150 feet tall. So we're cutting in and out of the trees trying to spray where we're trying to do. And we hit wing clip, we went down.
Oh my gosh.
We had all kinds of support aircraft around us, but had 2 problems. This side was a battalion of Viet Cong. This was a battalion of North Vietnamese. And we're right in the middle, and there's 4 of us. And you know what you had for a gun? A 38 Special with 8 rounds. And you're going, oh my God, I can stop the world with this. Where the hell's Superman when you need him? But anyway, we crashed, stopped. Everybody was pretty well banged up because you're instantly going at 118 miles an hour. Now you're dead stop because that tree that's not going to give. We get out, and the guys that went forward, walked forward, got picked up by the Jolly Green, headed off. Well, I went out the back because that's where I ended up. And I'm out there looking, and I'm going, hey, come back here. Whoa, you got somebody here. He didn't pay any attention. He went home. He's getting shot at. He's out of there. So I made up my feeble mind and said, I guess I've got 2 options. One, I can turn myself in, or number 2, I can find my way out of here or hide my way out of here. And so I elected to actually go through and see if I could escape. So I get in a place that I thought would be the worst place in the entire field to be at. Give me the snakes, give me the alligators, and they weren't there, but I was looking for them anyway. And anything that would bite, that would keep those guys away from us, or away from me. Sun starts going down and everything like that. Well, we have very few lights. where I have very few lights and matches and things like that. And I'm going, now, if I light something up out here, I'm gonna be the only dude in the world that's got something because everything's up there that's lit. So I said, no, we're not gonna look. So when those of you who went survival school got to practice the thing where you're squatted down as low as you can get, because being at 6 foot tall and when somebody's 5'3" looking up at you, you kind of stand down. Hey, here I am. So you squatted down, you have a little stick, you got a stick and you're looking for something, tripwires or anything that you wouldn't trip over or anything to get. That went on all night long. I was moving slow. Finally, daylight came around, found another place to hide, did that. And I'm thinking, gosh, how many days is this gonna be? I said, I don't know what it is, because right now all I have to eat is any little grub, a worm, or anything. Whatever, what didn't bite me, I bit it. And that's what my mother said, that was great, because you ate everything when you were a kid. Didn't matter. But we will continue on our way. I don't know why I'm saying we. I think I was carrying something in my pocket that made me think that there were two of us, but it was just me there. And so I'm progressing along there, and sun sets again the next day.
Lemon drop.
And so I'm moving around again, trying to find some place that I can hide and be away from everything. I found a nice tree that had kind of a cutout in it that I could get into, so I did it. And then I kept hearing this strange sound. And has anybody ever heard a tiger that's hungry? Well, I did.
Oh.
That's what he was doing. Well, in the process of all of this, you have cuts and bruises and everything else on you. And you got blood everywhere because you don't have anything to wipe yourself off with or anything like that. Anyway, it's night, pitch dark. I'm still trying to move away from where he's at, or I think he's at, because I just know other thing. And I took my left hand and I reached out like this. It was warm and fuzzy and big and strong. And I'm thinking, that's one bite. Maybe I'm going to give him. And then it's all over with. I hit him with enough, not really pressure, but I had blood that transferred from me and whatever else was on my hands to him. And he ran. It scared him, it scared me. And I was up running. And I'm going, hold it, idiot, stop. You've got bad guys on both sides of you. And this thing's going to chase you. Well, I finally sat down and it was nice, cool, and calm and collective. Yeah. And so I'm trying to keep up with listening to where this tiger went. And then I heard him. And I'm going, he's coming right towards me. He passed me by. And I'm going, wow, this is strange. Then I hear him make a turn, and now he comes right straight back for me. I knew from the trees and everything else, here he is. He got about 8 to 10 feet from me, enough that I could see him in a little silhouette there. And he kept reaching back, or turning back, and biting on his hip. And I'm going, what the hell's going on? Well, then he takes off like a rocket. And I'm going, what the hell do I do now? Do I just stay here? Do I go? What? I know I'm not going to climb a tree, because that doesn't do any good. So I moved a little further up, and I found one of those good places where you didn't worry about who was there and enjoying it, but it wasn't going to be that big guy that's going to eat you. So the next day I didn't see him, I didn't hear anything was going on. I thought, maybe he was shot or something before we ever got to him. Well, anyway, he was not shot or anything else. And the next night he came after, and he was getting ready literally to leap on me from where he was at. The wind was blowing where it came across his tail up over his head, and he smelt that scent again of me, and turned around and bit himself. Reaction, because he's on the hunt and he knows he's smelling me, and that is going to get him. So he bites himself, and that's the last I see of this guy. But I believed every day he was going to be there. I went on further, and I ran into 3 Rangers, excuse me, that were out looking for me. I said, "Daddy, you're here." They didn't think that was funny, and I didn't either, but I was thinking, get the hell out of here. And so anyway, they picked me up, brought me back, broke a couple of bones, bloody nose, all that stuff all over me. And the guy said, "It's a wonder you're still alive." He said, "There's all kinds of wild animals that love your blood." And I said, I know. And so they got me back, and for the next 6 years, they got a case of their choice every Christmas. So that was mine, where I was almost killed in, and being in the accident and everything else. And we flew a lot of other missions. I flew for CIA over there, and I was also a helicopter pilot. I worked for Bell Helicopter. I was a design engineer for Bell before I came on active duty.
Wow.
And they had a bunch of the new aircraft and everything else, and I'd help them with theirs. But anyway, flying helicopters and stuff like that. And the CIA guys got shot up all the time. I don't know what to do with you. But we got over that. It was good and wonderful. And then the B-52s, we went across everything that he said about being at altitude, seeing the missiles coming up at you. And they look like a telephone pole with a big halo around it. And you just watch it come up, and it's just, and now you're sitting in a B-52, you've got, it's 189 feet from wingtip to wingtip, 187 feet long. And so you're trying to turn this big old monstrosity that doesn't want to bend and bang with this thing coming up at you. And they put an altitude explosion on top of it. We did not get hit. The guy in front of us got hit right under the bombs when they were releasing the bombs. And it blew that whole airplane out of the sky. Nothing was ever found of the plane or the people. But those are the guys that gave the ultimate sacrifice when we were doing the 11-day war up there, and the B-52s were doing it. Really glad we got away from it. Felt sorry for the guys, but those people need to be recognized as well for what they did into it. And we're lucky. So I was lucky. I got back home. My name changed from Bob, Bobby, Robert, Captain, whatever, to everybody on base called me Grumpy. I got a grumpy old name all the time. But it was a war. I hope we never go through a war like that again, because you don't know who the good guys are and the bad guys are. And I got one more we're going to tell you. My initials are BS, so you got to put up with. Anyway, I have to tell this one because my kids get on me because I tell this story. We were at Consonu, landed down there and getting fuel in 123. Well, when you find a break in the day, you have to run the base operations and get something to eat, something to drink, take care of yourself. So I was in there in the bathroom taking care of myself, and I'm sitting there looking. There's people just coming. Your windows that they get clean and everything. They have the cleanest windows in town. It looks like it's almost missing. There's nothing there. So everybody's coming by and everything else, and you're sitting there, and come on, hurry up, I gotta go, get the hell out of here. And all of a sudden, the people stop coming by. And I went, this is not right. Something's wrong. And I went, uh-oh. And that time, I saw this object come flying through the window. And I think my mother and dad, I played baseball. Because I caught it and threw the thing back out the window. No more than cleared the opening in the window, and it exploded. And it just, the whole outside of the building was that, got shrapnel in it, and got wood into your arm and everything else.
He got the splinter wound.
Yeah. But anyway, it was, that was the one that really, the closest that I came to actually dying. Because I didn't know that I was ever going to get that little jewel away from, and far enough away from me that it wasn't going to kill me. So, It was fun. It was a good story. And believe me, the more I drink, the bigger this story is. We have to do and have to do things. But little quick PM part into this. I'll keep into the thing. We are coming up to a time in our future that there is a lot of problems with what's going on and a lot of decisions that have to be made. I pray that you talk to your neighbors and your friends, because right now there are so many issues out there that our country could turn around from 180 of what we are now to headed straight to the ground. And so get out there, do your time, talk to people, tell them the importance of it, and all of us know more about what's going on than the people do because they're listening to the TV and it's not coming out real well. And you can do it. So I'm asking you and pleading with you, because I have grandkids coming up, and you do too, to do that. To talk to people, to vote, to find out what's wrong. What can they do? What do we need to do? The thing down in South Texas, Uvalde, with the kids down there, I've answered 1 million questions today on that about what happened. I said, I'm not in the police department. I'm not with the CIA anymore. I don't know what the hell happened down there. But I've got a good guess. Well, why did we do it? I said, that's for you to find out, and you need to put the right people in the office that can do this for you. We do something that we need to do.
That's right.
So I will leave you with that. I'll get off my soapbox. No, I won't be, I will. I love to talk, and I love to talk about our country. This is the greatest thing in the world. I can tell you, we train kids, we teach kids about the Constitution in school. They know nothing about it. So anyway, I'm off. I'll go.
Gene Pugh, born and raised in Colón, República de Panamá.
Bienvenido.
I speak Spanish sometime, you know. 1966, I joined the United States Army, volunteered for airborne school. There was a guy with a green beret on there during the in-service recruiting. He says, we need volunteers to get into Special Forces. I never said that I was smart. Never said that I have any kind of intellectual stuff, but I raised my hand. Went to Fort Bragg. There were 250, 260 men in the bleachers. Saw these guys there that looked like Clint Eastwood, square jaws, steamy eyes, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger and everything else. And I'm looking at me and I'm going, oh my God, I don't have a prayer in this unit. 9 months later, there were 44 of us going across the stage to get our green berets. The training is designed to make you fail. Let me repeat that again. The program is designed to make you fail. However, most people quit before they fail. I was dumb. I didn't know how to quit. I was assigned to 6th Special Forces Group, which is in Fort Bragg at the time. And my original team was made up of DPs, the displaced personnel from Europe. Czechoslovakians, Germans. One of them, his name was Jerry Kropik. Jerry Kropik was a World War II German paratrooper. He fought at the Battle of Stalingrad. He was wounded. Sent back to Berlin, convalesced a little bit, was sent to a little place called Normandy in spring of 1944. He was there when the Americans and everybody else came across him on his vacation. Long story short, end of the war, he became a Czechoslovak. He was a border guard on the Czechoslovakian border. Did that for a couple of years, defected, joined the French Foreign Legion, was at a place called Dien Bien Phu. Got out of there, went back to Algeria where the French Legion was. His term with the French over, joined the American Army. When I got my orders to go to Vietnam, I said, Jerry, what's the best advice you can give me? He said, you have to overcome your fear of dying and let your training resolve the problems of the moment. When I was there, I was trained to be an advisor. I was going to go to an A camp, so I was trained in company tactics and things of that nature. When I got to Vietnam, I was assigned to Military Assistance Command Vietnam Studies and Observation Group. Basically, it was MACV SOG, or just simply SOG. I had no idea what it was I was getting into. When I got to Da Nang, this is where the proverbial cat came out of the bag. SOG, created in 1964. Its charter authorized it to operate out of North Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, South Vietnam, and Thailand, with contingency planning for northern Burma, Guangxi, Guangdong, Yunnan provinces, and southern China, to include Hainan Island. And that was the unit that I was assigned to. I was assigned to Ops 35. 2 Americans, 4 to 6 Vietnamese, Montagnards or Chinese nuns, to gather information, that little dot of information that would be married with other little dots of information, and an intelligence profile was then made. Eight men, when you get into initial contact with the enemy, you're going to be outnumbered 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1 in less than 20 minutes. We kicked some ass. We would run to the reality we never did. We would avoid a stand-up fight because we would lose. So it was hit hard and run. We were such a pain to the North Vietnamese that they diverted between 50 to 70,000 troops to hunt us down. That's 5 to 7 full divisions. We had 158 to 1 kill ratio. I like to say that we gave them a run for their money. I was part of a team. And I like to say that we spat in the devil's eye and winked. Thank you.
You saw the first B-29 crash land on Iwo. Tell me about that.
I hope I'm not out of order. I think it would be nice if we could have supper before I talk.
Okay.
It is after 7 o'clock, and I'm hungry. Would that be all right?
You can always sing.
They're gonna serve in just a few
You're
minutes.
not helping me.
They're gonna be serving in just a few minutes.
They are, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can make it.
Right over there, Porky.
This fella here has been trying to grab all the time. Well, it was, well, we got up just to the left, going north of the first airstrip. The mechanics.
Engineers. CVs.
Yes, CVs. Yeah, they hit the beach with us. They got hit so bad, they said they'll never do anything like that again. Well, I happened to be sitting in a foxhole, and I heard a B-29 come over and spurting and spurting. It really, like it was gonna, it just wasn't gonna live. and it come around, made a circle, and it came in to any airstrip, which was the first one. It was short, and they hadn't finished it yet. And here he comes in. He crash lands, kind of slides left and right, goes all the way to the end, stops, and gets on fire. The Air Force boys, we watched it. The Air Force boys ran to that ship, they put that fire out, got those boys out of there, and got it all stopped. That was the first B-29 that landed there. But that was the safe haven. When they got shot up, they didn't go in the drink. They landed in Iwo Jima. That was the purpose of taking Iwo Jima. The very purpose. And folks, 7,000 kids died on Iwo Jima, and 20,000 were shot up along with other men, taken off the island, some buried at sea. All because we need to have the B-29s have safe haven from Tokyo to Saipan. Our Marine and Navy ship, they could do it. The Army ships over there, they could not take them all the way to Japan. So by having an Iwo, they could take them to Japan and bring them back. That was the purpose of taking Iwo Jima. But it was a heavy cost. It was a terrible battle. But we went through it. And you know, I thank God we had men in their 30s and 40s that trained us, because we were a bunch of crazy kids, 17. I gotta tell you this. 3 of us were sitting in a car. Now, some of you have heard this before. It's December 8th. 8th of December. You remember?
Yes, sir.
Well, we're sitting in a car, the 3 of us. Got a blanket around us, got a jacket, a jacket on and a hat. We're listening to the big bands. Love the big band. Never had them back again. And all of a sudden on the radio, the announcer came on and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this broadcast. The President of the United States is going to speak to the nation." We said, "What's this all about?" And all of a sudden, the President come on. Our hero. He said, yes, he was. Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date that will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked upon by the naval and armed forces of the Empire of Japan. I interpret the will of Congress and of the people. We shall gain triumphant victory, so help us God. I'll never forget that message, never. It was the greatest speaker we ever had. No one's ever topped it, not even Reagan. I loved it. We followed that man. He did everything he could from a wheelchair with braces and crutches. And when he went over to Europe and met with Chamberlain and all the rest of them, they came and they met with him. The man was a leader. And he did a beautiful job. And when the day we got off Iwo Jima, got aboard our transport to go back to Hawaii, we got this. Now hear this, all hands. The old man is dead. Old man, who's that? President Roosevelt died with a cerebral hemorrhage. Hot Springs, Arkansas. Harry Truman will step in his place. I said, "Who's Harry Truman?" We didn't know who the vice president was. Harry Truman. I said, "Harry Truman, who's he?" So some of the older guys said, "Don't worry about it. He'll handle it. Harry, that mule Skinner, he'll handle it."
He handled it all right.
So that's the story of Iwo Jima, some of it, and that's the story of our president. And we went back to Hawaii, got ready. Oh! Isn't that the most beautiful flag? Cool. I love that flag.
I just said that, right? I just said that.
Well, that's all I got to say right now. I'm hungry. I already had 3 trips. Well, these guys talking. This guy loves his country.
Amen.
This guy loves the veteran. He's a Marine.
Hoorah.
And he does a good job. Look what he does. He just doesn't yell at the doggone, helps people. He organizes. He scares me sometimes.
They're going to be serving dinner. Y'all, please enjoy your dinner. And just a couple words as they're going to be bringing this in just a minute. You know, I've met a lot of you guys through whatever organizations or handshakes or wherever that we've been at. And I'm going to say this right here. A lot of you don't really know what my convictions are politically, whether it's what my beliefs are. But this is one thing I will tell you tonight that I believe in. And Don just said this. I believe in America.
Amen.
Yes.
No matter what you want to do, no matter what you want to say, no matter how you want to do it, we have the freedoms to do that. And why do we have that?
United States military.
Because of the gentlemen and the ladies that are sitting and a lot of these gentlemen that are sitting right here tonight that selfishly sacrifice what they have so we can have what we have.
Somebody just comes up and says
Why? Because Monty is the general manager out here at Bob's and he always hosts us. And we want to thank Bob and Monty and all the staff here tonight. Give them a big round of applause.
Myers Jackson always puts me in a position to follow these guys. Oh, no way. That's impossible for me. I wanted to thank everybody for showing up this evening and supporting these guys and supporting Bob's Steak and Chop House. And if I can do anything for any of you at any time, please let me know. But we are so honored to host this thing. We get to host it a couple of times a year. And God forbid I have to sing with Don tonight. This guy can still belt it out. How many have heard him sing?
Oh, yeah. We're going to open it up in just a second. So I want to mention a couple people because there's some folks in here that, I mean, listen, always come out and support. I want to mention Mike Klepper. He is, you know, the last dinner we had out here, he just stepped up and he really put forth an effort to really support what we're doing. Thank you, Mike. He's the finance manager down there at Auto Nation. If you can get a car, go buy one for Mike. Hey, go buy Mike.
Give the inventory money.
Is this dessert? Oh, no.
Right here, Tina, stand up. She's with Capital Title of Texas. She's always doing something, always out in the community doing something.
She don't do that.
Who else in here? I mean, I'm going to thank everybody in here because, I mean, it's great to give you all, everybody a year.
My video is getting everybody's behind. Everyone.
What I'm going to do next is I'm going to ask, now we're going to do a couple things. I've got a couple things to sign by these guys up here. They don't want, this was not meant to be a fundraiser, okay? This is not what this is really meant to be, but we're going to throw a fundraiser in here. They'll pay for some steaks tonight, but this was more about having a get-together so we can hear from some true American heroes and get to know legends in the community. That's what this is really about tonight. So before we sell a couple of items, we're going to ask Don. Don, come up here.
Did you eat, Don?
Did you eat?
I want you to stand right here between me and Monty. So Monty can help you sing God Bless America.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Everybody up?
Yeah, we're ready.
We're ready if you're ready.
Hi.
Again, I have to say, behind us,
gonna record right
I
here.
have to tell you, I'm disgusted and I'm ashamed of Washington. And we better take a hold of things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's sing together, shall we? God bless America, the land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the lights from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, a wonderful. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Oh, yay.
I'm sending my wife in for that.
Right.
All right, so let's ask a question.
Who's been married the longest?
Boy.
Hi.
No fair.
Hey, who married?
Who has been married the longest? Anybody in here been married over 20 years?
Oh.
Y'all stand up now. We got something going. We got something going. Anybody here 25 years?
Do you get to have them together?
No, we don't get to have them together. Do I hear 25 years? Do I hear 30 years?
30.
30 or less? Do I hear 35 years? Do I hear 35? You gotta sit down. Do I hear 40 years? Wait a minute. Do I hear 40 years? Do I hear 45 years? Anybody been here married more than 45 years?
Is that real years or feel like real?
Look here. If you're in the Navy or you're really on the boat or you just feel like you're on the
Shit,
boat.
my friend.
Okay, so 50 years.
They were married 45 years ago.
So y'all at 45 years.
No.
So let's get down to the nitty gritty. How many years, Jerry?
64.
So Jerry's disqualified from the.
Well, I was in 53. Either way, you won.
I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you guys, but I believe each one of these couples deserves a prize.
That was sweet.
And this was our second marriage.
Tina's the question maker in here. So who's from the furthest away? So anybody outside the state of Texas?
Weatherford.
Anybody what?
Weatherford.
You mean when we were born, or?
No, who drove in the furthest?
Who traveled here tonight?
Plano. I did.
Plano, we got Weatherford. Where you travel from?
Weatherford.
Weatherford. Midlothian. Now y'all get into some math that I can't calculate.
That's pretty far.
Yeah, that's a tough one now. You're gonna have to appreciate this. So let's do this. And they're bringing dessert in, by the way. That helps.
Oh no! I have tournament. I'm gonna have to work out.
Don wanted to know about cake, so we got some cake. So this is a good question. This is a good question. So we're going to change the question. Who has the most grandchildren? Anybody?
Oh,
got 5 or
7.
more grandchildren?
Raise your hand.
Oh.
7 grandchildren.
Anybody in here got 8 or more grandchildren?
Oh! Wow.
multiply.
That big girl narrows it down pretty quick.
Funny.
8 grand, how many grandchildren do you have? 8.
I like the other question. Yeah. Who's the prettiest?
Thank you, everybody, for playing. Hey, we're, Mark, you got
It's a
the
surprise.
United Stein sign.
It's a Bob's gift.
All right, so we got
Oh.
4 things that we want you to take these home. We're going to embrace and
want
cost
his
55 Bob's with some of this. If there's any money left over, we're going to make that contribution to the Woody Salute.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I think we're doing good on that. Dana, how do you feel about Woody Salute? You're the treasurer of this thing. I mean, how do you feel about Woody Salute? I mean, how are we doing on this?
I think it's going to be a great success.
For real though.
You've done a great job on marketing side.
Listen, this. I mean, we got 400 people that's going to be coming to this thing, and we're squeaking to get anybody else into these to Woody Salute. So it's going to be a great event. So this is what we're going to do next. I got 1, 2, 3. I got 3 things that we're going to just auction wherever it goes. It's going to go. Street signs. Street sign first. If you haven't signed, why do we sign these street signs? And I always
As
tell
united
people,
we stand.
You know what? If you can read the signatures on these signs, well, God bless you. This is the second thing I say.
Good one.
You may not
Oh,
know
it's okay,
the
it's okay.
signatures on these
Thank
signs,
you.
but you probably didn't know that the people when they was in the jungle in Vietnam. I mean, you didn't know them when they was in Afghanistan. You didn't know
Right.
them when they was, in other parts of the world doing things that, you don't know that they're really doing, but things go on and things happen. So we're going to let the highest bidder take this home tonight, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. We'll pay $50 for it. Hey, 50, now 75. $50 now 75 to 1, 125, 125 to 150 now, 150, 125, 150. 125. He's a Marine over here. Marine against Marine. 125 to 150. You want to do it? 150. I got $125.
You didn't say it loud enough.
Over our bed, United Stand does not work.
Uh-oh. Did you just?
This is something.
Did you just drink that Polish remover?
No.
Okay.
I reached over and I know because this guy.
He is the author on this book.
drink.
Surrender is not a Bob. GNHQ. Just imagine what you can read in here. But he wants us to sell this here tonight. He will autograph this for the winner. So how many dollars about this? 25. Do it. 25, 35 now. 35, 35, 25, 35.
It's a great read.
Oh my God.
35 and 45, 55,
Oh, I ain't going to
65, what about 65, 55, 65?
Remember me, Mom, with the auction?
Want to do? One age in particular?
75, 75, 89, 90, Hey, what about all these ladies and gentlemen taking care of us here tonight? I thought I'd lose my train of thought. So, right here.
Woo! Good job. That's a good one. He's gonna sign it for you too.
Yes, sir.
I tell you what we're gonna do now. This is kind of special.
Oh, look at
Hey,
that.
Jerry Brown, stand up. This is a piece of artwork. Can y'all see this right here, this 3D stuff that Jerry's doing? He's still doing this today. I mean, so Jerry employed us to sell some of his property, and we're going to be selling some of his personal property for him and Miss Kay.
Oh
And I
my
walked into
gosh,
his house,
it's
and he's got
beautiful.
this all over his house. And I mean, it's just, it's some tedious work. And it looks good. Jerry does this. This is Jerry's artwork. Korean War veteran. I think he was in the Army? Air Force. Oh, he said he was in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Oh. $1. I'm not picking on him, I just couldn't hear him. Alright, so, we'll do this. We'll give you $50 for this right here. Take it home and do what you want to with it. 50. How much? 50. He said 50 and was thinking about 100. Hey, you know my wife, ain't no 100. Hey, $50 but not 75. $60. What about it? $60. $50 but not 60. We're gonna suck right back here. My man Rich, right here in the United States Navy veteran.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Alright, so this is the last thing that we have tonight. Everybody have a good night so far.
Fine.
Really?
This is the American flag right here. A little tattered. That's okay. She's been in a lot of places. She's been in a lot of places, been around the world.
Right.
Been some unseen places. Very protected by a lot of patriots around the United States. Imagine this. And you know what? Don always likes me to introduce him. He says he don't, but I believe he does. But I want you to imagine something. 2 seconds, close your eyes. 2 seconds, close your eyes. Imagine standing in a position on Mount Suribachi with the flag hadn't been posted yet. But imagine just what that would look like. And then I want you to open your eyes. Don, come up here, buddy. Come on up here, Don. Because this guy right here don't have to imagine. Okay? He does not have to imagine what it looked like when the flag was raised at Mount Suribachi.
I'm getting towards the top.
Tell them about it.
Well, we get hit the base. Harold Schreier, Lieutenant Johnson, our battalion commander, said, take this flag, Harold. When you get up to the top, see if you can get some boys together, put that flag up for me. Yes, sir. They went up around the left, we were fighting up this way. They got up on top. When we reached the crest, here they were putting the flag up. And we said, what the heck did they got the flag? We didn't know anything about a flag going up. So I said, what'd they put it up? They found drain pipe up there. Drain pipe to catch the rain. But they didn't have no water. They couldn't make their own water. Just clean it. So that was the first flag. The second one, that was when Rosenthal Autumn got up there and they made a big deal out of that. But the first one, that was legitimate. Too bad that was the one that they should have said. Here's the sad thing, though. About 5-6 years ago, I went back to Eagle. And we drove up on Mount Suribachi this time, not fall. There's a concrete slab on the top. 2 flagpoles. Beautiful poles. The Japanese flag on one, nothing on the other one. They asked us if we would remove our flag, and we did it.
Why?
And I can understand that because Iwo Jima was prefix of Japan. That was Japanese soil. I could understand that. So there's a bunch of us standing around. Laura Leopard's with us from Dallas. And I said, well, looks like we got to take this dang thing again. He said, oh, you guys, I don't want to do that. So this is pretty heavy metal plate right here. Been signed by one of the last living witnesses of the flag raising during the Battle of Iwo Jima. One of the most iconic photos ever taken anywhere around the world. It's also signed by Bob Slaughter, who drove that 123 into a tiger's den. Imagine that. Signed by Gene Pugh behind enemy lines. What did Nixon say? Y'all didn't even exist? We were not there. Also signed by Colonel Ken Cordier, who spent 6 years. 3 months. No, 2 days. 6 years.
Not that you're counting.
3 months and 2 days. You're probably one of the most horrific places that we cannot even imagine. All of these gentlemen have signed this here tonight. How many dollars would you pay for it? Well, give me 50. 50, 75, 75, 75 and 1, 125, $100 bill now, 125, $100 bill now, 125, $100 bill now, 125, we're gonna get 125, 50, 125, we're gonna get 8 now, money, 150 now, 150, 150, 150. 150 now, 175, 150 now, 175, 175, 175, 175, 175, 175. Just because I'm a good guy and I got 2 of these, I'll tell you what I'll do. This is an old auctioneer's trick, and if you're a good auctioneer, Les, you gotta think about these things. I got 2 of these things. Mike, would you do one for 150? Larry, would you do one for 150?
I'll do it.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to give this opportunity. Dinner's done. Did y'all enjoy the dessert? I'd like to give this opportunity to ask our guest of honor if they have any last words. Brother Ken, you got any last words for this evening?
Yeah, it's a little dot right here.
Never give up, never give in.
United States Army Ranger Gene Pugh.
An honor and a privilege to be seated with these gentlemen.
United States Air Force pilot.
It is our privilege to share and enjoy with the future of America.
United States Marine Corps veteran Don Graves.
Patriotic Americans that love their country and love the history that was started, fought to keep that flag. They kicked the British out of here. Amen. And we preserved that flag. The Battle of McHenry, Francis C. Scott wrote the Battle Hymn Republic. They were blowing that thing apart. And they couldn't understand why the flag was still flying. The flag was still there, so the song goes. It was because they took dead soldiers, propped them up against the flagpole to hold it up. That's patriotism. That's patriotism. Folks, get up. We've got to fight these maniacs in our country. Amen. They're killing our kids now. Amen.
I appreciate every one of y'all taking the opportunity to come out and spend it out here at with this dinner with the person that's sitting to your left, the person that's sitting to your right. I hope you had time to get to know them a little bit better. Hang around a few minutes if you wish. Those who need to go on, please drive safely home. Thank y'all for coming out. We'll see you at the next event.
Please remember that these people that served us tonight deserve a very good tip. Do not leave here without leaving a good tip for these people. They are working hard and we need to help them through this also. Please tip.
Thank y'all.